All right, let's continue our conversation on Stoicism. And I thought what we would do today is leave Seneca be for just a little bit and talk about something else, something that I was thinking about earlier this week. And that topic is saying farewell. And the reason I thought about that was that I teach, and I always find that at the end of a course, you say goodbye to the students, and then they move on and they do other things, and then you may see some of them again, some others you won't see again, and even though I've done this for quite a while now, I still find that saying goodbye to be a little difficult. It's strange because I've done this for quite a while. So then I thought to myself, well, saying farewell, right? Being done sounds a bit unkind, but a relationship ending, whether that is a friendship, a romantic relationship, a family bond, or even something in a professional sense, the people you have worked with that you no longer work with, that kind of stuff. I always find it hard. And it's something that happens a lot to us. We deal with this a lot, right? Relationships end, friendships, you may never see people again. And so I thought to myself, what would be a Stoic response to saying farewell? And I thought, what would the Stoics say? And I think that the first person that I turn to in such cases is trying to think about what Epictetus would say. And I think Epictetus would say, he's pretty clear cut, sort of black and white. I think what he would say is something like, well, some things are within your control and other things are not within your control. So in other ways, some relationships will not last. And again, relationship could be anything, right? Could be any type of thing. I think that's what he would say. You have to accept that some relationships are not forever. Sometimes you know that entering in that relationship, sometimes you don't. So I'm thinking, for example, if you go to work someplace and you know it's going to be a temporary job, then you know that those colleagues you're going to be entering a relationship with, but that relationship was never meant to last forever. In fact, it's meant to end. You know this because there's a clear end date to that whole relationship. Other times you may be taken aback. The relationship may end that you did not expect to end, for example. That can also happen. But at the end of the day, some things are within your control. And a relationship ending is not always within your control. Sometimes it's not. And sometimes it is, right? But I think that's a first starting point. Accept that some relationships will not last. They won't last forever. And understand that. Know that. Understand that that is the case. And then accept that for what it is. Other things, I think, another perspective that I think someone like Marcus Aurelius would take would be something like, well, a relationship is something that will last a certain period of time, and at some point you're going to not be in that relationship anymore. And in Marcus Aurelius, given that he writes quite a bit about death, as does Seneca, by the way, I think what those authors would say is something like, well, at some point, if nothing else, either the other person passes away or you pass away, and that's final. That's a terminal thing. You will not see that person again. And Epictetus, too, has written things along the lines of, frankly, nothing will last, right? When you own a certain object, think about that object in terms of, you will have it for a while, but at some point it may break, it may get stolen, you may lose it, and there's nothing you can do. That is just the way it is. So, in ways, I think you can also think about a relationship in those terms. The slightly morbid vision of it's just not going to last. I'm forgetting the original artist, but there is the song that has lyrics along the lines of, one day, everyone you know will die. And that's pretty confrontational. Those are heavy lyrics, right? Either you pass away and you're the one to go first and then that's over. But if you're the one of all the people you know who lives the longest, then there will be a day that everyone you have known in your life is passed away. And that is I find that a very Marcus Aurelius thing to say. Remember, one day, everyone you know will be gone. Now, coming back to Epictetus, the second part of the argument I was trying to make is you understand that some relationships won't last. And you understand that sometimes that's just the way it's going to be. So if you start to think about a relationship along the lines of, I get this for a certain period of time, and then it ends. It must end. It's almost like you are borrowing something, right? That's what Epictetus says. You have a relationship, you borrow that person from the universe, but at some point you have to give them back to the universe, or to the logos, or to call it whatever you want. I think it's a very interesting way of looking at things. And some people find it very morbid, very macabre, but I think if you try, not every second of every day, but if you try to think about relationships in those terms, right now I have this, but one day it's going to end because of natural reasons, because of time passing, because of falling out, whatever you can have. At some point that relationship will end and I have to give that person back to the universe. But I can think back to the nice aspects of that relationship. Again, when it was a friendship or a romantic relationship, whatever, I will have that. And that I can be grateful for. And that I have found to be a helpful way of looking at things. I have left things behind. I have moved not only countries, but continents. You're in a completely different continent. All of a sudden, everything is different. That means you leave people behind. People that sometimes you've known for a long time, sometimes all your life, but you leave them behind. And you will see them again or not. But I mean, you will see them again, let's say, typically. You don't know when that's going to be, how long it's going to be. So I think that really, it can really help in such situations to think of it in that context. Yeah, but I've had these people, or in that case, a country that I've said farewell to. I've had that for a while. I will always have those memories, but it was not meant to last forever. And that, I think, can be a very powerful way of mitigating some of the grief that comes with any sort of relationship coming to a close. And I found that with students in particular, because that's how I started this video, right? That's what spurred all this. I'm coming to the end of my term, our winter term, slowly but steadily. And I think that's a very helpful way of thinking about it. I have spent weeks with these students, and now they will go their separate ways. We go our separate ways, and we no longer share our fate. We now do different things, and they will move on in their studies. Sometimes this was the end of their careers, and that's natural. So it's a matter of, you say farewell. You know it wasn't going to last forever. You'll have certain memories, and everybody goes their way, because that's how it was always going to be. You end up taking the path that is for you, and it's a true, like a hardcore Stoic would say, because it's inevitable. This is the path the Logos has carved out for you. This is what you were meant to follow. Now, I'm not sure if I fully agree with all that, but the thought is interesting. This was your path. You got to walk that path together for a while. Now you've gone your separate ways. And I found that certainly has made certain things easier. Let me know what you think about saying farewell. If you happen to teach people, please let me know if I'm insane, if I'm the only one who has this. I've talked to other people in the past who are in the teaching profession, whether that's primary schools, high schools, colleges, universities. But a lot of people I've spoken to said, yes, I have the same thing. It's always hard at the end of a course to then say goodbye to the student. So I don't think I'm insane. But it's not bad to have the affirmation, is it? Anyway, hope this was useful. And gladly see you later. Bye.